Hey, this is Elon with Best of 5. We're a weekly FGC talk show, so if we keep popping up on your recommended feed and you want to stay connected to the FGC, click the subscribe button and stick with us while we bring you more FGC news. Let's get into this. Tuesday. The Smash World Tour tweeted out a Medium article revealing that the Wednesday before Thanksgiving, Nintendo has officially shut down their tournament. Now, this is a gigantic occurrence because about a week from today is when the finals of the Smash World Tour was supposed to happen. So the tournament organizers, the staff, everybody that was involved with this tournament got completely blindsided by this, and it is an absolutely abhorrent situation. In the article, the people over at the Smash World Tour revealed that Panda, specifically Panda's CEO, Alan Bunney, had a hand in some pretty shady, slimy, and quite frankly, I think we can just call it what it is, extortion, right? It's a lot of extortion, a lot of like backstabbing, a lot of very terrible bullshit. Adam Buns. I want to keep it serious. So here's the situation. This is a very complicated thing that has kind of put an entire scene in like this very bizarre, like unknown place. Like, does the scene still exist? Can people still play Smash without Nintendo shutting stuff down? I don't know. In this situation, Nintendo is at fault, 100%. Nintendo have always been shitty to the Smash scene in the FGC. There's no question about that. What we're going to be focusing on is Panda's hand and Alan Bunney's hand on all of this. If you want to learn more about the impact on the Smash scene, and if you want to learn more about how Nintendo's existing relationship with the Smash scene and how that hasn't been great, I suggest you go to Bobby Scar's video on YouTube. He streamed yesterday at twitch.tv/Bobby Scar Speaks. And Bobby Scar, I think, is one of my favorite personalities out of the Smash scene. So his points were very salient. And I think he has a very powerful and a very interesting idea moving forward. So if you go to his channel, twitch.tv/Bobby Scar Speaks, or if you go to his Twitter at Bobby Scar Speaks, you can go see that video later. One of the things he has said that I think really helped frame this whole thing is that in this situation, there are three separate entities. There is Nintendo, there is the Smash community, and there is Panda Global / Alan Bunney, right? In this situation, Alan Bunney is the sole reason why some of these terrible things have happened. Well, not the sole reason some of these terrible things have happened, but he was the lone bad actor, right? There are a lot of people that work for Panda Global. There are a lot of people involved with Panda Global who want nothing but the best for the FGC. There are a lot of people that, and it seems like a lot, if not all of the staff and influencers and everybody who's sponsored by Panda got completely blindsided by this. So before you go harassing anybody that works for Panda or that's sponsored by Panda, stop it. They did not know. Don't bother them. they're having a hard time digesting this just as much as we are, if not more, because they're involved with this in some weird way. They just didn't know it. Nintendo's also doing a terrible job, and we've kind of at this point we're kind of at the mercy of a Kotaku article because the only communication we've been able to get from Nintendo has been from this Kotaku article. And they sent out a statement which was immediately refuted by the folks over at Smash World Tour. So that whole thing is happening. Anything from Panda or Alan Bunney has been dead silent since this came out, right? We're at the mercy of Kotaku. Yeah, it's terrible. Panda has been completely silent. Not a single word out of Alan Bunney. Not a single word out of the Panda Twitter. Nothing. It has been completely dead silent. So, what we're going to be talking about is Alan Bunney's actions. I will be referring to Alan Bunney or Panda, right? But again, I'm speaking specifically for the CEO, or speaking specifically on the CEO, not necessarily anybody else involved with Panda. We have a lot of friends of the show are sponsored by Panda, and I know for sure that they want nothing but the best, and the fact that all this is happening is terrible, and they're having a hard time dealing with it. People like Katana Prime, Saint Cola, Kizzy K, etc., etc., etc. None of this is on them, right? I just want to make sure that that's very, very clear to everybody here. Even the head tournament organizer for the Panda Cup has come out and said, hey, this is the first I'm hearing of this, and this sucks. So, it seems like even if it wasn't completely Alan Bunney's lone actions, the buck stops with the CEO of a company. And Alan Bunney is the CEO of Panda Global. So, let's get into it. About a year ago, Panda announced, after the Smash World Tour, that they were able to get Nintendo's blessing for the first ever Nintendo-backed Smash World Tour. And they announced some North America tournaments. They announced the prize pool, which I think was $100,000, split between Ultimate and Melee. And they announced the format. Since then, there have been a lot of things happening behind closed doors that we were not privy to that turn out to be extremely, extremely damaging. So, if you guys didn't read the tweet from the Smash World Tour, they put out a giant Medium article that goes over how things got canceled, how they heard, their communication with Nintendo, etc., etc. And there's a specific section about Panda Cup, and I'm going to pull it up right now. This is just the beginning of it, so we're going to delve into this a lot deeper. This is from that Medium article, and at the very top it says, around this time, Panda Cup began heavily recruiting events for their circuit. The CEO continued to tell organizers we would be getting shut down shortly, and also added that any events that participated in the Panda Cup would not be allowed to be on the Smash World Tour. This exclusivity surprised us, not only because our Nintendo conversation regarding coexisting, but also because we were not exclusive, and even back in January, we told organizers that they could be on both with zero issues from us. So, earlier in the article, they talk about how after Panda Cup was announced, Alan Bunney went to tournament organizers behind closed doors and said, hey, the Smash World Tour is going to get shut down, so you better not sign up with them, right? You better just sign up with us or else you're going to be in trouble. That's extortion. That's shitty. That's backstabbing. So we can just start with that and how shitty that is. This was hard to hear, right? That somebody in the FGC is sabotaging the FGC, right? It's the world tour from the group that has been with the Smash scene arguably since the beginning, right? This was all confirmed by LP Deep, who is one of the co-founders of Beyond the Summit. He tweeted out saying, Alan, referring to Alan Bunney, spent several months basically running a protection racket, telling TOs, including Beyond the Summit, it'd be a shame if your event got shut down for being unlicensed, in an effort to scare them into signing onto the Panda Cup. Beyond the Summit will absolutely never participate in a circuit led by Alan. Now, if that's not clear enough, later on down the line, people asked for more information. And if you look at the very bottom, well, this is very small to read. I apologize. Let me blow this up for myself so I can read it. There we go. At the very bottom, you see Playful Piano asking, this is you confirming that the statements made by Smash World Tour / VGBC about Panda's interference in majors is correct? Want to make sure this is a clear confirmation. And at the very, very bottom, he replies, yeah, I can confirm their statement about our experience with Panda is accurate. We reviewed it in advance. So, in no vague terms, in very specific terms, this is a confirmation that this is indeed happening, right? This is not just an allegation. Now there is corroboration with this. So this is indeed happening. Let's go back to that Medium article to see how Beyond the Summit, which, by the way, if you guys don't know Beyond the Summit is a production company that has run some of the bigger Smash events, some huge esports events, right? They work outside of the FGC, so they're not just Smash or FGC adjacent. They're esports, right? Like they have CSGO summits. They've had Valorant summits. Have they had Valorant summits? Anyway, they've had Tekken summits, right? But we mostly know them for the Smash summits that they do every year, which are amazing. Let's go back to that Medium article. At first, Panda targeted events that were not on the Smash Tour, including those who did not join because of the aforementioned warnings. A few of these events had broadcast deals with a popular tournament broadcaster Beyond the Summit, which we were just talking about. The CEO of Panda wanted broadcasting rights to be included as part of the deal of the events joining the Panda Cup. Most of the events refused to break their contracts, so Panda approached Beyond the Summit directly to try to get the rights released. Now, I don't think anybody can question that this is already going down a very bad road, right? So this has gone from someone trying to create something from the Smash scene to somebody trying to sabotage their competition in order to gain what they want, going as far as extorting TOs to join their new thing, and going as far as trying to get broadcast rights for something that has already had contract signatures. Let's keep going, shall we? Because it gets even worse. It gets even worse. The very last paragraph. Beyond the Summit had very little motivation to give up broadcasting rights for free. So, hold on. The very rare best of 5 snipe. Bam, got him. All right. So, the very bottom paragraph. Beyond the Summit had very little motivation to give up the broadcasting rights for free, so they declined to get involved, causing the CEO of Panda, Alan Bunney, to escalate things quickly. We were told he made a variety of threats to Beyond the Summit, including shutting down their entire Smash operation in 2023 if they did not eventually join the Panda Cup. And after Beyond the Summit held firm, the CEO of Panda warned that they would get Nintendo directly involved, putting broadcast rights for all tournaments in jeopardy. So, going even beyond extorting, threatening, backstabbing for their own event, they're putting the entire scene at risk because of this greedy play. Right? The scorched earth method. If we can't have it, nobody can. So Alan Bunney is willing to throw an entire scene under the bus just to get what he wants. The evil broadcast treatment? Maybe. But, the evil broadcast threat. Gotcha. That is absolutely like the worst thing that anyone could ever do, right? The FGC is not a big industry, if you could even call it an industry, right? Like, we're a community and esport that is kind of like the redheaded stepchild of the quote unquote real esports or the other esports, right? So the fact that Alan is already like kind of trying to fracture the scene, but now on top of it, he's willing to like put the scene at risk and force the people who have put the time and the effort out. That's I don't know about you, but I think that's very bad. That's very bad. It's just something that's beyond greedy, and it's very fun. It's very funny because I think it was Wheels uh, retweeted this right before we went on air, and I had to get a screenshot of it. This is a tweet from November 18th, 2021, after they announced the Panda Cup. And this is Alan Bunney saying, after someone congratulated him, "Thank you, man. Really hoping we can do right by the community with this." My biggest fear is that sponsors will pull out support knowing that Nintendo is pulling cease and desist like this. Could mean the end of the Papa John's era. Very true. Now here's the other thing, and the very interesting thing about this is his slimy bullshit that he's been pulling. Now that it's come out, has not only caused the Smash World Tour to be shut down, but he's damaged his own event, right? I feel like a lot of people have very, very little motivation to go to Panda Cup finals now after all of this, because this is very bad. And for someone to really be willing to sabotage an entire scene like this just for their greedy ambitions is someone who should not even be close to our community or our industry. And I find it so interesting that we were talking about Punk a couple of weeks ago, about how Punk was bullying people he competed against when he lost. And I remember calling on Panda to, get Punk some media training so that he's not bullying other people in tournaments and ruining their experiences. Now this makes a lot more sense, because it seems like this bullying culture comes from the very top. The person who's running the company is a bully. And according to others, if you go listen to that Bobby Scar broadcast, according to him and what he's heard, this is not the first time this has happened. Apparently, Alan is well known for being a bully and threatening people, extorting people, right? Running a protection racket, if you will. So it makes a lot more sense that was happening, because that culture, the buck stops with Alan Bunney. So this makes a lot more sense. That kind of culture is coming from the very top. So I would hate to see how the rest of the company operates, because that's pretty shitty. That's pretty shitty. So this, I'm a firm believer in actions being stronger than words. Right? Like, your actions speak louder than your words. And in my opinion, I don't think there's anything that Alan can say that will turn this around. At least I very much hope not, right? Let's take a look at a couple more details about like why this is bad, right? Not only like is trying to shut down an existing organization in our scene bad. Let's take a look at what this was all shut down for, right? Shall we? The Panda Cup finale, which is slated to happen in a couple weeks in LA, right? We were talking about it a couple weeks ago, right? They were selling all those expensive VIP tickets, right? $450, and you can have yourself some Wolfgang Puck catered food. The Panda Cup has $100,000, as we said, for prize money. Yeah, even Ono came out and was like, hey, this is bad. Granted, I think he was pointing more at Nintendo for shutting it down, right? And I totally agree with what Ono said, right? Like, because for so long, while Nintendo didn't have a hand in the Smash community, the Smash community wanted nothing to do with Nintendo. So they all worked under the, you go that way, I'll go this way. We won't bother each other. And we've talked about other tournaments that have been shut down by Nintendo. All of those tournaments were the ones that tried to work with Nintendo previously. So Nintendo just has a history of fucking up. But we're not talking about Nintendo. We're talking about Alan Bunney and Panda. Now, in contrast, let's take a look at what the Smash World Tour was offering. Here's the trailer for the Smash World Tour. Oh wait, am I about to get DMAC'd? Also, yeah, this was supposed to happen like next week. $200,000 competitors vying for 30 slots in the largest offline tour in esports history. We're going to get to that in a little bit. So a 32-person bracket for the finals, 8 round robin groups of 4 into the top 16. $250,000 worth of prize pool. Already a very stark contrast to Panda's $100,000. It was supposed to be here in San Antonio, Texas, just down the street by about an hour. And this is the rest of their schedule, which unfortunately had to be shut down as of last week. So it's supposed to be a week tomorrow. So very shitty place to be. So that's the Smash World Tour. Let me read off some statistics here for you, right? In 2022, the Smash World Tour had over 6,400 live events worldwide, with over 325,000 in-person entrants. That is gigantic. That is astronomical. Right? Those numbers are astronomical in not just the FGC, but in esports in general. It made the Smash World Tour the largest esports tour, not FGC, esports tour in history. This was the biggest esports tour in history for any game title. And the championships would have had the largest prize pool in Smash history with a prize pool of over $250,000. The prize pool, as we can see, was broken down this way. Per game, first place was going to take 40% or $40,000. Second place, 20. Third place, 12. Fourth place, 9. And then 6,000 for fifth, 4,000 for seventh, 9,000 for 2,000 for ninth, 1,400 for 13th, 800 for 17th, and 500 for those that go that don't make it out of the or for those that are at the very bottom of the round robin pools. Now, if you look at the right, this is I think what was something that was super interesting, and I think even better. They were also adding money from a variable prize pool, which was coming from other sales that the Smash Roll Tour was making. So, a percentage of the sales from the Smash Roll Tour shop was going into the prize pool directly, right? They probably can't get, so Hot Limit, that's the big issue. They can't get any of the money back from the venue. Not even just that, but think of all the players. This was a worldwide event. Think of all of the players that traveled, all of the players that booked flights, booked hotels, everything, right? On top of everything. So, so this was an astronomically successful tour. In contrast, Panda Cup has $100,000 prize pool, which I can't find the breakdown for, by the way. And they had 11 events in North America. One in Canada and one in Mexico, I think. So that's what Alan killed the Smash World Tour for. Now, I say Alan killed, but again, like it was a combined effort, right? One bad actor taking, you call that an international event? Sure, that's why I said North America, not America, right? Again, this Nintendo ultimately fucked it up for all of us, but Alan Bunney over here trying to pull the strings. Here's where this gets even more fucked up, because I was doing a little bit of digging, right? And I reached out to a couple people. I was, trying to get like a little bit more information. And something kind of popped up on my radar a little bit that I dug into, and honestly, I find it even more worrying, right? Because at this point, Panda is basically like, hey, if you don't do what I want, I'll get my dad that works at Nintendo to shut you down. So we're at the behest of the Panda Cup at this point, right? They're the only ones that were able to get the licensing for Nintendo. And on that Medium article, by the way, the people over at the Smash World Tour talk about how they were actively applying for the licensing stuff, and for whatever reason, things just went south. Like, they stopped responding. The process just ground to a halt, and then they were like, you can't do it, bye. So if we're already talking about how Alan Bunney was going into some backroom meetings and like talking shit on the Smash World Tour, extorting TOs and broadcasting partners, threatening people to end the scene essentially if they didn't go join his Panda Cup, I can only imagine what his conversations with Nintendo have been, right? And I think it's safe to assume that they weren't good for the Smash World Tour or the rest of the Smash scene in general. Now, I want to take us back to CEO. CEO was the first event in the Panda Cup. And for the most part, it was a successful event. When this all got started, this seemed like a great thing, right? It was the first ever Nintendo-backed tour. But here we are. Turns out that, Alan Bunney is just a snake. So CEO was the first event in this the Panda World Tour. And for those of you that watched, and for those of you that were following the Panda Cup, This I saw this and it kind of bothers me a lot, and we'll get into it. CEO for the Panda Cup had a Spanish commentary stream of the Panda Cup, right? I think I have the. Do I have the? I forgot to load it into my project here, but I think I have. Here it is. Yeah, here it is. So they announced that there was going to be a Spanish commentary lineup at CEO with some of the bigger names in the Smash scene in Mexico. And they did. There was a Spanish commentary stream that went very well. And that was that. When this came out, I started seeing a couple of the people that we just saw in this graphic right here say that Panda still hadn't paid them for this. Right? That's bizarre. Especially, Panda, the extravagant Panda. $400 for a VIP Plus ticket, right? So, people were saying that they didn't get paid for commentary. I went as far as DMing one of those people. I'm not going to use their name. Oh, there's an ad break? Okay, sorry. We'll stop. We got about a minute and 20 seconds. We're going to stop here. We're going to wait until this ad breaks comes back. I'm sorry, everybody. I need to get better about taking care of these ads. The ads usually happen at the top of the hour. I missed it. Okay. We got about a minute left, but Twitch kind of sucks. Yeah. Let them know I'm waiting. How was my day? My day was okay. It was a little bit stressful, but we made it through. How about you, Shiggity Shank? And Die by Sword, that's the thing, man, is if you subscribe, you don't get ads, which is pretty cool. Well, I don't think it's cool because I hate having to serve ads to people, right? But we got about 30 seconds, so it's okay. We're getting through it. We're getting through it. Doing all right? Sick. Happy to watch ads. Dude, Slice of Gold, man, I appreciate the hell out of that, dude. Thank you. It sucks that I'm being kind of forced to present them, right? Because one of the main reasons I have gone with this format is every time we run these ads, there's no pre-rolls on the stream for a limited amount of time. So that's why we unfortunately had to change it up to this. But yeah, we should be back from the ad break right about nowish. Burger Heroes. Sorry, there we go. Burger Heroes and Squidly. Let me know when you guys are back. You guys should be back now, so just let me know. And then we'll keep going. There we go. You were back. Nice. Okay, awesome. Sorry about the ads. Blame Twitch. Now, what was I saying? Yes. So we saw that the Spanish commentary lineup for CEO has not been paid by Panda for their commentary. Now, could this be a situation where there was miscommunication? They thought they were getting paid, but Panda never promised it. I went as far as DMing one of those people, and I'm not going to share their name just because I don't want them to get any backlash or anything. They don't deserve that. But I DM'd one of those people, and I got a reply, and they were able to confirm. And here's the reply. I asked in no uncertain terms, did Panda offer you money and then just not pay it? This was their reply. We'll skip the introductory paragraph at the top. But about the Panda situation, I can confirm I was offered a flat rate for each commentary block I signed up for the CEO broadcast. Things were handled by a local organizer, and I had no direct communication with Panda. So they were promised money when they signed up, and Panda did not fulfill their part of the bargain. Right? This person also directed me over to Toon Laguna, was another commentator and who also worked on more things in the Panda Cup. And here is the public tweet that they said, and this is in Spanish. So this essentially says, here we go. Taking advantage of this announcement, he's saying that Panda Global owes me money for translations since July. Then he goes on to say that the translations for Panda is another topic, but the translations he's talking about are part of the start, or are on the Start GG for Panda Cup. And he asks himself if he will ever see this money back. In a follow-up tweet, which is very important, he says, subsequently, Panda never paid me for the CEO broadcast in Spanish. And then he goes on to say that the casters were not paid. So you can go to @ToonLaguna and click the translate tweet button to get the exact wording from Google Translate. This is what I know of Spanish. But aside from all of this bullshit that Alan Bunney is pulling, right, with sabotaging the FGC and kind of like threatening to end an entire scene, this is also proving that Panda Global is also not trustworthy, right? They are promising people money and not paying them. And look, I'm going to say this, and I don't think there's anything like this involved, but it really rubs me the wrong way that I've only heard from the Spanish-speaking services that they employed, who are all from Mexico, by the way, and I double-checked this. All of those people that you saw, all of those people that did commentary, the Toon Laguna guy who did translating, which, by the way, translating, I have to do it, and it sucks. It's difficult, and the fact that this dude did all this translating and did not get paid is a crime. Like, literally. So the fact that I'm hearing just from people from Mexico that they haven't been paid is a little bit worrying to me. And I'd like to believe that there's nothing xenophobic happening, and I don't think there is, right? But I'd be lying to you if, me having experienced xenophobia, because as you know, I was born in Brazil, moved to Pennsylvania, very xenophobic and shitty area. So I've experienced some xenophobia. So like my Latino xenophobic senses were kind of tingling, right? I'd be lying if I said otherwise. I also saw somebody was talking that Mike Saftig, who also from Mexico, won one of the Panda tournaments and still hasn't been paid. I was not able to verify that, so I'm not 100% sure, but it's very worrying that people from Mexico who are employed by Panda have not been paid. Right? That's a very specific spider sense to have. Yeah, you get it when you suffer at the hands of shitty white people. So and like I said, I don't think this is a specifically xenophobic thing, but if it is, then I don't think I even need to finish this train of thought for you to see where I'm going with this, right? But the xenophobic stuff aside, like I said, I don't think there's anything going on, but I'd be lying if I told you it didn't cross my mind. Aside from this, if Panda is willing to employ people, contract people to do commentary, to do translations, to do anything and not pay them, they obviously can't be trusted, right? And seeing as they're trying to be the sole Smash tournament organizer, how the hell can we trust them to even run this shit? How the hell can we trust them to pay people the $100,000 prize pool, right? Maybe they should have spent less money contracting Wolfgang Puck. Is Wolfgang Puck going to get paid? Maybe they should have really spent less money on getting, Wolfgang Puck for the $400 VIP plus ticket and spent that more on the players or more on the people that they're trying to employ, right? So that is a whole another sack of potatoes that I kind of ran into. And Twisted is saying, scratching me the wrong way hearing this. Me too. After I heard this, first of all, hearing that people haven't been paid is already bad enough. But seeing that it's starting to become a trend, and like I said, I'm not accusing them of anything. If they want to prove me wrong, then please, Panda, tell me about other people you have not paid. Please do it. Yeah, this is bad. This is shitty. The fact that you're promising money and not following up on that promise is a crime. They're literally stealing services. And then Alan says that he's trying to do right by the community. So, recapping this whole thing. Due to Panda's extortion and sabotage and backstabbing, the Smash World Tour, which was run by the people over at VG Bootcamp, was being broadcasted by Beyond the Summit. The people who have been with the Smash scene for so much longer than Panda Cup or Alan Bunney have been, right? He has completely ended the tournament that was super successful this year, right? We saw the numbers. 6,400 live events, over 325,000 in-person players, the largest esports tour in history, and Panda says, hey, I want to run something. And, being greedy and being shitty, completely sabotaging this other tour, has now fractured the Smash scene, damaged his own tournament, right? Again, I find it very difficult to... And look, at the end of the day here, I don't blame the players that do wind up going to Panda Cup because, hey, get that bag, right? Make Panda pay you. Make sure they pay you the entire money that you win. Double check that shit because clearly they can't handle that shit either. So I don't blame the players for going, but I think it's very, very difficult to find people who are still willing to go. Because Panda has essentially completely fucked up the Smash scene. And by Panda, I mean Alan Bunney, right? So not only in the sense of not paying people, but also in the sense of sabotaging and backstabbing the entire community. So, all of this, really did make me very upset hearing this and then doing the research about it. This is very, very shitty. And look, again, if you go to Bobby Scar's stream or YouTube video, he talks about ways of moving forward. And ultimately, the Smash scene has dealt with a lot of this before, and they still have thrived. So I don't think the Smash scene is over by any stretch of the imagination. People just want to play Melee, and that's perfectly fine. It's a video game that's fun that people have been playing for 21 years at this point. So Bobby Scar has a lot of solutions for the Smash scene moving forward. That I totally agreed with. He even talked about turning tournaments that were shut down into protests, right? People will still go play the game, not stream the games, but still play the tournament and have fun and stream something else, talking about the community, the growth, et cetera, to keep the Smash vibe alive. But I think it really sucks that the greed and the bullshittery of Alan Bunney, who has completely ruined an entire scene in the FGC. And mind you, this is the scene that has had to work the hardest to keep their game alive, and is also the scene that has thrived the most out of any other scene in the FGC in keeping their game alive. And yet he's willing to completely put a knife to the throat of this community, ruin the community by going over to Daddy Nintendo and putting the entire scene at risk. So Not only is this bad, but the people he's doing to are absolutely the people who do not deserve it, right? So, moving forward, in order, and this is my opinion, and I hope other people share this opinion with me. Moving forward, in order for Panda Global to still be a viable organization in the FGC, Alan Bunney has to step down as CEO of Panda Global and recuse himself from anything else involving the FGC moving forward. No more. His actions have actively and irreparably damaged the FGC, specifically the Smash scene. And if he's willing to do it to the Smash scene, he's willing to do it to any other scene. His sabotage, willingness to put the entire scene, especially a scene that has worked so hard, much harder than any other scene in the FGC to stay alive and have thrived, in jeopardy for this bullshit is absolutely unacceptable. I believe Alan Bunney has earned himself a permanent exile from the FGC, from our community, because, quite frankly, I do not want to share a community with somebody who is so easily able to, or who is so easily willing to ruin something for everybody for no reason. And like I said, if he's doing it to the Smash scene, 100% he's going to be willing and able to do it to other scenes in the FGC as well. So we cannot have him around. The amount of people in and around our scene that he has tried to fuck over because of all of this, not even to mention all of the people that he probably has fucked over that we don't even know about, is unacceptable behavior that seems to be echoed by other players who represent Panda Global. You know, we talked earlier about Punk and his tweeting habits. And this is something that cannot be tolerated in our community. It should not be representative of our community. And the sooner we get this out of our community, the sooner the community can begin to heal, and the sooner we can go back to progressing things forward again. Panda Global is made up of some of the most amazing people in the FGC who had absolutely no idea this was going on, who have absolutely been propping the FGC up instead of trying to tear it down. Again, I name people like Saint Cola, Justin Wong, Katana Prime, Giuna, Kizzy K, countless others, even people who aren't streamers or players, like people who work as staff, right? Like they have a ton of tournament organizers that they employ who are completely hurting from this, do not deserve that kind of hurt. And I absolutely hate saying this because it goes against their best interests. But if Alan does not step away from Panda Global, we need to do our best to avoid anything and everything to do with that organization moving forward. Because the actions of Alan, and again, he's the CEO, so the buck stops with him, I believe should not be tolerated and should, bar none, be exiled, excommunicated, taken away from our scene so that we no longer have to deal with any of his bullshit ever again. That's where I'm at. So I don't wish anybody at Panda any ill will or anything. We talked about it earlier. It seems like Alan was the sole, if not one of very few bad actors in this entire thing. And we need to have this cancer removed from our scene sooner rather than later, before it spreads. You feel me? We're too small of a scene to be dealing with this. We're too small of a scene in the great grand scheme of things to even be thinking about anything that he's trying to think about, and is just becoming completely greedy. It's an act of greed at this point, and it's irreparably damaged our scene. So, Alan, the only resolution to this is you stepping away. So I really hope we never see your name in our community ever again. Those are my thoughts on it. That's where I'm at with it. And again, through this whole ordeal, Alan was only one cog in the giant machine that caused this shit fuckery. So Nintendo is not free of blame. And again, I am not someone who is heavily involved with the Smash scene, but I am someone who follows the Smash scene. And while I don't know the scene as well, again, I did watch Bobby Scar's talk on Twitch, which I believe he posted to YouTube. He has a much better handle on like how to move things along, how to get out of the trouble that Alan Bunney has put us in. So I suggest you go over there and watch that, in addition to listening to all these ramblings. So I apologize for rambling. I apologize for kind of like taking a soapbox stance on this, but this really did upset me. This is something that's extremely shitty, and you know, seeing the performative tweets of, oh, I'm going to do right by the community is extremely distressing, especially, you know, with the Smash scene, who has gone through so much adversity already at the hands of Nintendo, to then have Nintendo sicked on him like a dog by Alan, who is a extremely shitty person. So if Alan does not leave Panda Global, I think that should be the end of us in the FGC being involved with Panda Global. And again, I hate saying this. Because there are people who are employed by Panda, people who are supported by Panda, sponsored by Panda, who I absolutely love, right? Like, we've had St. Cola on the show. Like, I can never get enough of that guy. I think he's hilarious, and I think he's amazing. We've had Jay Wong on the show. Jay Wong, I've done an interview with Jay Wong that's currently saved in a hard drive that I'm waiting to edit to like turn into a segment here. I've been in talks with Giuna loosely about having him on the show in one way, shape, or form. Katana Prime is most likely, like, he was on the show talking about Rumbleverse, and he's an amazing person, right? Like, he won the pizzas. Kizzy K is someone I super enjoy watching play. So I have absolutely no ill will towards any of them, but the buck stops with Alan. And if he's not gone, then I don't think the organization should be here in our community. So